Bringing a new medicine to market takes years and costs billions of dollars. And a lot of that money is spent on clinical trials and testing. But hopefully this next technology will bring that cost down and save a lot of lives in the process.
Health Check.
The Syechinov First Moscow State Medical University can trace its history back to 1758, making it the oldest medical university in Russia. Its pharmaceutical and toxicological chemistry faculty carries out research into the effect drugs have on the human body. It's currently putting a new tuberculosis treatment through its paces by seeing how well it penetrates the intestine cell walls, and it recently got a new high-tech addition to its testing inventory, the homunculus. Targeting a human body with a new medicine with unknown side effects could be lethal, so first you have to try it on something else. 3D cell cultures and lab rats can be hit and miss. They're relatively cheap and easy, but don't show the effects on the human body as a whole. At the other end of the range you have our closest relatives, primates, which are aimed at giving more accurate results, but are risky, expensive, and not to mention ethical concerns. Then you have the homunculus, combining the cost-effectiveness of cell cultures with a level of realism closer to human trials. Bullseye.
Every potential molecule that displays positive physiochemical characteristics can be tested for toxicology, pharmacokinetics, bioavailability or metabolism in a simpler way, and perhaps discarded immediately, or, on the contrary, approved for the next round of more complex and expensive tests.
The homunculus was conceived and brought to life by Bioclinicum. The company's team won a grant from the Russian Ministry of Education and Science to develop a system for testing drugs on human cells in 2011. Since then, Bioclinicum has brought the device out of prototype and into mass production, and the box has more in common with a human than you might think. Just like in a human brain, the homunculus's control unit automatically controls the temperature, speed, and path of blood, or in this case nutrient liquid, around the organs. But the real magic happens on the cell chips, which sandwich a PDMS layer complete with flow channels between a polycarbonate plate and microscope slide. They contain up to 6 cell compartments that can grow cultures including liver, skin, brain and intestine tissues, which are 100,000th of the size of the real thing. Information on the condition of the cultures is constantly fed back to the control unit. The configuration of the single-use chips can be customized for a specific test, depending on the medicines and organs it targets. Bioclinicum currently has 2 chip designs in production, but the possibilities are endless. And no matter which configuration you need, the chip is produced in the same way.
This is the homunculus microbioreactor. This is the control unit, which we can connect several chips to. We can control the speed and the direction of the flow in each chip independently. We can use chips of different designs and generations and control them independently. The machine saves all the experimental data. It's also displayed on the screen, so we can monitor the process. We cast the chips in this room. This is our master mold, which has 100 micron channels. We make a silicon impression of it, which takes on the shape of the mold, including the channels. After we've made the silicon mold, we can make the chip, which is made of polycarbonate, silicon, and glass. The silicon part of it has the channels for the liquid to circulate. After we put the chip together, we test it to make sure all the valves are working properly, and then hook it up to the machine to study the effect any type of medicine or unknown substance has on human cells.
The hollow 100 micron microfluidic channels act like capillaries delivering nutrients to the cells. It's this closed circuit that shows how the effects on one organ can influence another. The growth and death rates of the cells used in the chips have been well studied and can be replicated with ease. So any effects the medicines have can easily be worked out by comparing the number of cells left with a control sample. Each test lasts anywhere from a couple of days to almost a month. But adding support for new organs isn't just a case of drilling another hole and filling it with a new type of cell. The most difficult part is developing a nutrient solution compatible with all the organs, and that's one of the things Bioclinicum is working on. As well as being a guinea pig for new drugs, the homunculus can also be used to test the toxicity of chemicals, the safety of cosmetics, develop vaccines, and may even pave the way for custom-developed medicines.
We can put tumor cells of a patient into a chip and try to treat them using different combinations of oncology drugs without involving the patient. This could help the oncology specialists determine which would work better for the patient's chemotherapy. This approach, personalized anti-tumor therapy, is being actively developed by Germany. Together with the Gerson Institute, we're now trying to introduce it in Russia as well.
And if you think the uses of the homunculus end within the confines of the lab, think again. Bioclinicum and the Moscow State University of Mechanical Engineering, MAMI, recently joined forces to develop new ways of monitoring air pollution. Once a sample has been collected, the air particles are rinsed out of the container and separated from the solution using a centrifuge. The prepped sample is then applied to the chip and the cells cultivated for a couple of days. The growth rate of the cells is then measured and compared to the control. A drop of more than 30% and the sample is deemed as being toxic to human cells. But surely with emission standards becoming ever stricter, there are already plenty of ways of monitoring the environment.
When it comes to eco-monitoring, everything is based on testing, the TLV, the threshold limit value of a substance. The figures were determined a long time ago. There are huge tables for listing them, following tests on lab animals. The figures have been recalculated for humans, but no human testing has ever been done due to safety reasons. Our machine allows these harmful substances to be tested on human cells.
So far, Bioclinicum has put together 50 homunculi, with 30 already in service. The company is working closely with its clients to perfect the technology. At over $60,000, they don't come cheap, but given the time and money saved in the medical development process, they'd be a bargain at twice the price.